employee pay, and because that's gone up quite a bit recently. But it has been a problem in the past, economically and just in general for personal finance. But I want to show you, it's an older video. If it'll come over here. There we go. This is Katie Porter talking to Jamie Dimon in Congress. And she's going to give him an example of what he pays a standard employee.
Early. She had $2,425 a month. She rents a one-bedroom apartment. She and her daughter sleep together in the same room. In Irvine, California, that average one-bedroom apartment is going to be $1,600. She spends $100 on utilities. Take away the $1,700, and she has net $725. She's like me. She drives a 2008 minivan and has gas. $400 for car expenses and gas. Net $325. The Department of Agriculture says a low-cost food budget, that is ramen noodles, a low food budget is $400. That leaves her $77 in the red. She has a Cricket cell phone, the cheapest cell phone she can get for $40. She's in the red $117 a month. She has after-school childcare because the bank is open during normal business hours. That's $450 a month. That takes her down to negative $567 per month. My question for you, Mr. Dimon, is how should she manage this budget shortfall while she's working full-time at your bank?
I don't know that all your numbers are accurate. That number is it generally a starter job?
She is a starting employee. She has a 6-year-old child. This is her first job.
You can get those jobs out of high school, and she may have my job one day.
Mr. Dimon, she doesn't have the ability right now to spend your $31 million.
Sympathetic.
She's short $567. What would you suggest she do?
I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
Would you recommend that she take out a JP Morgan Chase credit card and run a deficit?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
Would you recommend that she overdraft at your bank and be charged overdraft fees?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
So I know you have a lot
I'd love to call up and have a conversation about her financial affairs and see if we can be helpful.
See if you can find a way for her to live on less than the minimum that I've described.
Just be helpful.
Well, I appreciate your desire to be helpful, but what I'd like you to do is provide a waiver.
All right, so kind of.
I love her.
Katie Porter, yeah, she kind of nailed the point home, which is we do have a problem where people are not getting paid enough to live. And you wonder why there's such high turnover and companies are having a hard time filling positions. This is part of it. I mean, if you can't live, then why even bother?
Why are you going to be loyal to a company who's not going to pay you enough to be able to actually meet your bills and then a little extra?
Right.
You should be able to make all of your bills and put something into your savings account or take yourself to a movie or something, and her budget doesn't even allot for that.
Well, furthermore, if you work in the finance industry and you're underpaying your employees, that's even more embarrassing. And his, well, I don't know, I'd have to think about it. You're the CEO of one of the largest banks in the world. You're international. You make $31 million a year. You can't figure out a simple budget?
The starting wages that they pay entry-level employees in the banking industry are absolutely atrocious. I'm somebody who used to work in it, so I know how much people were making in those entry-level positions. And yes, they are entry-level, but people at entry-level still actually do have to be able to make bills.
I'll give them credit, though. They did raise their minimum pay, but not long after this happened. Because they were pretty humiliated. That's where they hired Kevin Hart to be their spokesman, the comedian, and he did a bunch of videos, but they're just ads for JP Morgan. And we'll go over that kind of hypocrisy of that. But I wanted to give that example just so you get a sense of there is a systemic problem with pay in this country, and it just hasn't gone up in a long, long time. And for employers like that, it's hard because just when you're an employer, that's usually your biggest expense is your employee cost, right? But I can't change, like if I own a restaurant, I can't change the cost of the rent for the restaurant or the food or any of that. But what I can do is cut down my employee pay and benefits if I want to make more money. But when you start doing that over and over and over, and that becomes the norm, then you start to run into problems like this. And then you start to run into problems where like nobody wants to work for you anymore.